This episode was sponsored by Peyton Beauties. If you ever need hair care needs, jump over to my Instagram, Peyton Beauties, and I'd love to help you out.
I'm Kylie.
I'm Peyton, and this is
Fires of Change. Hello. Welcome back. Long time no see. Well, not really, but for us, yes, but for y'all, no. Anyways, today is Thursday, June 19th, 2025, also known as Juneteenth.
Yay!
So, yes, we are celebrating Juneteenth with you all, and just wanted to, just kind of talk about the history of the holiday, as well as talk about the Juneteenth festival that I went to on last Sunday, the 15th. And so, for those who don't know, Juneteenth is the day that the enslaved people in Texas learned about the Emancipation Proclamation. So back on January 1st, 1863, President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Declaration. Oh my God. Emancipation Proclamation into law, and that was saying that anybody that was enslaved in the Confederate States, in the Southern states, was now freed. So, that was signed, but not everybody that was living within the Confederacy even knew about it. So, fast forward 2 years, on June 19th, 2,000 Union soldiers came to Galveston Bay, Texas, and they let the enslaved people know, hey, this bill or executive order, legislation was signed by Lincoln 2.5 years ago, saying that you are free. So of course there was a big celebration. People were just obviously very happy to hear that. And so today is actually the 160th anniversary of the first Juneteenth. Wow. So yes, very that's a very I can't talk today, guys. Please bear with me. But it just goes to show that, things, even though things change, we do still need to be persistent and, just pay homage to those who came before us. Because, it's just very important to keep in mind that, everything happens because of things in the past. So we just wanted to shout out Juneteenth, specifically to Black Texans, because, the Texas was actually the westernmost Confederate state, which is why they didn't know. Everybody else was aware sooner, but they didn't know because it's far out. It takes a lot of resources and a lot of time, or it took a lot of resources and a lot of time back then to get over there. So shout out to the Black Texans, shout out to Black Americans, shout out to all of the descendants of what is a stain on the American legacy. But, to be forcefully taken from one land and to be brought over here. First of all, so many people didn't make it on the voyages over here. And I really wanted to speak, to them too, because that's a choice, like I'm not gonna I don't know what it is that I don't know what it is that we're where we're going, or what's in store for me, but I'm not going to find out. That is a choice.
Mhm.
Um, and so to go through that and then make it over here to this strange land, and to be subjugated to rape and torture and um, all kinds of horrible, disgusting conditions, to be stripped of your humanity, um, but still move forward, to be, freed from slavery, and then go into the Reconstruction era, and start from scratch, but make something of yourself, and then to go into to get into the Jim Crow era, and go through segregation, and all types of different types of subjugation, but subjugation all the same.
And
um
systematically.
yes. Not just interpersonal, but yeah, all types of systems are made to fuck you over and keep you down, and um excuse me. And yeah, and then to come to the present day, contemporary times, and we still have things that we're dealing with. I mean, we still have people that are being killed because of being black, or being discriminated against, or um all types of things. It's just these systemic things are still in place. um so Black people are very resilient, and I'm proud to be gang. So again, shout out to um all of my skin folk. um
Like, we're proud to have you.
yes, yes. So yeah. Also, this past weekend, we being some of my friends and I, we went to the Juneteenth festival, um, in Five Points, and it was a really fun time. There were lots of vendors. So if you wanted to buy, jewelry, if you wanted to buy, um, apparel, if you wanted to buy food, there was lots of food, lots of great things to eat.
Ooh, what'd you get?
I got fish and fries from, it's called Nola Eats, I believe.
Okay.
Nola something. It's not Nola Jane's. It's Nola Eats, I believe. But it was really, really good. It was so good. It's a family-owned
Aw.
business. It was this lady and her kids helping out. So
Aw.
yeah, it was beautiful. Um, But yeah, it was a really fun time. Juvenile was there, but unfortunately, we didn't get to watch the performance because we had to leave early. I'm really upset about that because I wanted to see Juvenile. I wanted to back that ass up, but
Mhm.
you know, I will see Juvenile at a later time. But it was definitely a fun time. Denver, although it is a Colorado is a very predominantly white state, although that is, there's some there's some strides being made. It's definitely the most diverse that it's ever been. Um, but yeah, we definitely do have really great Juneteenth celebrations, and it was just really great to be around all so many Black people. To see so many Black people of different shapes, sizes, shades, um, styles. It was a fun time. So I definitely always enjoy events like that. Juneteenth and the Black Arts Festival are definitely, which Black Arts Festival is usually like middle to the end of July. Um, for multiple weekends in City Park, I believe. Yeah, always a good time. So if you're in Denver in July, definitely hit up the Black Arts Festival. And although it's going to be way past time for you all to hear this, definitely hit up some of the Juneteenth events that are happening this weekend. So the um, weekend of the 20th through the 22nd.
Maybe we could put it in our bio for tomorrow's episode when it uploads. Be like, check out the whole weekend. We could do that
Yeah.
so people get it.
Yeah, I need to find that post so that we can link it. But yeah, Juneteenth. We love Juneteenth.
We love Juneteenth.
Mhm.
Thank you for that, Kylie. I honestly learned a couple things, so we love learning.
Yes.
Um, yeah, and like she said, there's still a lot of shit going on, and so I kind of wanted to talk about some current resources. And first, we wanted to plug a man's GoFundMe. Um, his name is Earl Smith, and he's a Black man, and he lived in Albany, New York with his family, and he was actually found lynched on a tree. Um, and he's 58 years old. Sorry. Okay. He was the life of the party. He loved to sing. He loved to dance. He adored his family. He just actually got baptized last Sunday. He was a father, brother, grandfather, and great grandfather. And so, yeah, it's honestly, it makes me really sad because still in this day and age, this shit's happening and a lot of people act like it's not. And this current Trump regime is definitely aggravating it and exasperating it and literally throwing like the most fuel on the fire I've ever seen in my life. It's getting scary. It's been scary for a lot of people. Obviously, we know about the ICE raids going on and all that stuff. So I just wanted to also talk about, before I talk about that, please, if you guys can donate though, go to his GoFundMe. It's paying for his funeral expenses. And yeah, just help the family out. They're going through the most unimaginable things. So Earl Smith on GoFundMe. And if you just look up his story in Albany, New York, 58 years old, you'll be able to find his info. So there's this website called the fourthworkplace.org. And so this is for people to get info to either help your community, or maybe if you have employees, they actually have two separate links to kind of give you that information. You just go put your name, email, all that stuff, and they send everything over for you. So it's basically just talking about the Fourth Amendment, which is like, let me pull that up.
While she's doing that, yeah, it's just so sad that things like that still happen in this day and age. I think a lot of
Mhm.
people think of lynching as something that only happens in a specific region of the country, and that is a thing of the past. But people are still going through that today, and it's just a shame that he beyond a shame. It's just exhausting how many lives have been lost to due to hate and bigotry, and it's like, when is this going to end? So yeah, if you can, please donate to the GoFundMe for Earl Smith and his family, um and rest in peace to him.
Yes. And we're thinking about the family. Um, yeah, so we just basically want to keep plugging those resources and like hopefully it'll help someone. Again, like we talk about, community is everything in these type of situations. So please help. And yeah, the Fourth Amendment in the Constitution basically protects people from unreasonable government searches and seizures. So this website basically just gives you more information on that, which if ICE comes to your door, if you're a private business, you can totally refuse. Um, they basically have to have a warrant signed by a judge, and it has to be in a matter of so many days of it being signed. And so you don't have to like open your door. Um, it's very smart to have immigration attorneys in your phone. There's websites you can go to, like if you search up red cards immigration, it will bring you this website, basically that you can have a printout and cut them out and hand them out to people. You could bring them into businesses, stores, um, just things like that where people can, yeah, basically have that resource. And what's cool about the red card thing is you can get them in English and in Spanish. Um, because everyone needs to know their rights. We all have the right to due process. And so, yeah, we just have to make sure we're knowing our own rights, but also the rights for the people around us, just, to help keep us all safe.
Yes. Thank you so much for those resources. Definitely good to know where to turn to and, what to, um, yeah, what resources to use in these very uncertain times. Um, I, as a daughter of immigrants, it's just really, things are obviously escalating. So it's just, it just reminds me back a few, a few episodes ago, we talked about the Japanese internment camps and how a lot of them, like how a lot of the people in there were, American citizens, and how, similar situations are occurring. People who are, no, but nobody should be. I'm definitely like I don't care if people are here legally or illegally. Like I don't.
Mhm. I don't give a fuck.
Like who really cares? Especially most the average American citizen would not be able to pass the naturalization test.
Mhm.
So, my parents are both naturalized citizens. Um, but I know a lot of people out there whose parents are not, or who
Mhm.
they themselves are not. I think a lot of times people think of, when people think about illegal immigration, they tend to think of a specific group of people, but um, you know, there are a lot of undocumented Africans out there. There are a lot of undocumented people from the Caribbean islands, as well as Europe and basically from everywhere. So, um, these issues affect a lot of people. And I think it's just important to be cognizant of the fact that nobody should be going through this.
Yeah.
And especially in this manner, I think it's one thing to deport somebody, um, you know, because they committed a crime and, they need to be expelled or whatever the case may be. Or, if there's lawful ways to deport somebody if you must. Again, I don't really think it's that serious. I think a
Mhm.
lot of people there are a lot of there are a lot of people that are here in America that didn't come here legally. So I think it's very interesting when a specific group of people says, "Oh, people should come here legally," when their own ancestors didn't come here legally.
Mhm.
There was no way, you just came.
No,
So
literally. The
um
only people that were here legally is Native American people. Like, The only people. Everyone else migrated to America, either
Yeah.
forced or illegally.
Like, we're all on somebody else's
Yeah.
shit. So
Yeah. Stolen land.
I I never really understood that piece, um, especially if the U.S. is a place that wants people, to come. So, um, yeah, it's just very, it's a sad state of affairs. Um, so yeah, it's just like, what's next, and what is end game.
Mhm.
It's like, we know what end game is, but like,
How do we stop their end game?
yeah,
Because, yeah, no fucking way. It's just, I don't know. And I think the people that talk the most shit about it are the people that have never even met or hung out with undocumented people like in their life, because a lot of my friends are undocumented, their parents, and like growing up, they were literally the best people ever, just so welcoming, hardworking, amazing people. And to see a group of people get demonized because, the color of their skin, their documentation status, where they come from is fucking nasty. And again, we talk about the Salem witch trials a lot, and it's another fucking version of the same thing over and over again, to demonize the people, to then target them, to then basically try to get rid of them. Um, and it's gross work. So that's why we obviously want to talk about that. But yeah, like for sure, fuck ICE. Like when we look back in history, ICE is literally gonna be looked at like the Nazis. Like they're gonna get their fucking trials, because you can't just fucking snatch people off the street. They're literally kidnapping people. Like it's not like, oh, whatever. Like they're kidnapping people, they're kidnapping children, they're kidnapping mothers, fathers, they're kidnapping high school students. They kidnap Native American people. There's this guy in New York. Let me get his name. But basically, he is running for public office, and he has been, let me pull this up. Actually, I think there's multiple people detained. Um, but basically, I'm gonna get that guy's name later. But he was detained when he was taking undocumented people to some of their legal proceedings and like court stuff. And I mean, he's a white guy. If they can do it to a white guy that's running for public office, like obviously they're doing much, much, much worse shit. Um, so yeah, it's just like everyone needs to get louder. There was the No Kings protest on June 14th, which was the largest protest in like modern day history. Which I like the obviously it's on Trump's birthday, so like that's even more funny. No one went to his stupid ass parade, and the soldiers were seen kind of protesting because they were marching like really shitty and like offbeat, and like yeah, because obviously they didn't have the choice, they had to go. So yeah, love to see that. Huge, huge, huge turnout, like all over the country, every single state. I know in Colorado there was multiple protests going on, even like in some mountain towns. So that's really fucking cool to see. But yeah.
yeah, people have definitely been showing up to protests and making their disdain with this administration known, which yeah, I love that the the I don't know why we can't speak today, but I love that it happened on his birthday, because I know he's very egotistical, narcissistic, in that he has a tendency of overinflating numbers at his get-togethers, to portray an image that more people were present um, at his events than actually were. So yeah, it's I think I hope, I pray that the tide is turning and people are really like, no, we're not going for this. Um, I think definitely with other things going on with the conflict between Israel and Iran, Iran, yes. Things are people are no like we have our own fish to fry. It's really
Yeah.
not giving, going to war. Um, it's I don't know. I just feel like we have a big storm coming, unfortunately, and I don't know what that storm is going to look like. But eh, with the U.S. being in Israel's pocket, um,
Yeah.
mm, you know, and the U.S. has been saying that Iran is a threat or an enemy for a long time. So um, shit's getting crazy. It's been crazy, but yeah, it's just a lot going on. And all we can do is stay informed, and but it's a hard balance, staying informed, but like not, because you don't want to be too in it, because it's like it's depressing, it's fucked up,
Overwhelming.
it's upsetting. um and then it's like, we still have our lives to live, but uh, you know we can't ignore what's going on, what's unfolding. um it's a very interesting balance to be in. um it's a weird state that we're in.
Yeah. Yeah, I found the guy I was talking about. His name's Brad Lander. He's from New York, and he's a comptroller and mayoral candidate. Mayor, eh, basically
Mayoral.
mayoral. Thank you. So he's running for mayor, and but he was literally arrested by ICE agents. You can look this up, and he was arrested Tuesday by mass U.S. immigration and customs enforcement agents inside federal immigration court in Lower Manhattan. A U.S. Department of Homeland Security spokesperson said Lander was arrested for assaulting law enforcement and impeding a federal officer. He was released several hours later. New York Governor Kathy Hochul said that the changes against him were dropped. Lander's office said he was taken into custody by ICE agents while observing court, and he has been attending immigration hearings for the past several weeks to observe and, by his own account, help escort people out of the court that so they aren't arrested by ICE. While escorting a defendant out of immigration court at 26 Federal Plaza, Brad was taken by mass agents and detained by ICE. This was said by Dora Peck, Lander's campaign spokesperson. You can actually watch the video, and it is shown that he is being placed into handcuffs. And yeah, Lander was furious and could be heard telling ICE agents that they had no right to cuff him. He said, "You don't have the authority to arrest a U.S. citizen asking for a judicial warrant." He could be heard saying his arrest multiple times. And the spokesperson for the Southern District of New York said it's continuing to investigate the incident, and the safety and security of official proceedings, government official, law enforcement officers, and the members of the public who participate in them is a core focus of our office. And yeah, under federal law, assaults on law enforcement and other public officials, destruction of property, and obstruction of official proceedings are all prohibited. And let's see. It says there's it says the ICE enforcement law officers face a 413% increase in assaults against them, basically because they're fucking obviously attacking people and kidnapping them. So Landers speaks out against the ICE arrest, and he said he's in quotes, "I'm happy to report I'm fine. I lost a button." He joked, but I'm going to sleep in my bed tonight, safe with my family, and grateful to hear that the charges are not being brought. But if they are, I've got a lawyer. I don't have to worry about my due process rights. At that elevator, I was separated from someone named Eduardo, who had just met a couple of minutes earlier. Eduardo is in ICE detention, and he is not sleeping in his bed tonight. So as far as I know, he has no lawyer. He has been stripped of his due process rights by a government and a judge that owe him a credible fear hearing before they deport him, and yet have decided instead to strip folks like Eduardo. So I will be fine, but Eduardo is not going to be fine. The rule of law is not fine, and our constitutional democracy is not fine. And Lander said he accompanied 4 families out of prior hearings, all who were afraid they were going to be detained by ICE agents. And the CBS News later asked why Lander thinks he was arrested, and he said Donald Trump is coming for New York City, is coming for immigration, neighbors trying to racket up fear, and that's how creeping authoritarianism works. It's important for me to go down there and stand up for it, for the rule of law and due process in New York City, he added. And apparently that is not what the Trump administration wants people to do. Lander's arrest followed the rest of California Senator Alex Padilla at Homeland Security press conference last week, and the rest of New York Mayor Ras Baraka outside the ICE facility last month. And basically, Lander also said, let's see, Berman asked Lander what message is being sent when people see politicians arrested. And the Attorney General Pam Bondi has made it clear what they're doing. They're going after the leaders of Democratic cities with a political intention of provoking conflict. So yeah, basically that's why they are targeting New York City. You can go on and read the rest of the article, but that was on CBS News. But yeah, it's just when we see now our government officials getting arrested for literally doing their fucking job, and helping the American people, like, again, that is a marker of a dictatorship.
Yeah, it's again, very disturbing times that we are in, going back to people being, there are specific places that are supposed to be protected, right? Like ICE agents should not be going to schools and
No.
trying to take kids out of their classrooms. They should not be showing up to hospitals and trying to detain people when they're looking for medical care. Shouldn't be, getting into people's houses without warrants and literally snatching them off the street. And it's just really,
And unmarked, by the way, as well.
yeah, like they're not showing up to you in uniform. So I think it's important to, if some random person comes up to you and starts asking you questions, you don't have to. People feel so obligated, even if they are wearing uniforms. Like, I think people are so conditioned to, feel that certain people have authority, and like just feel like they have to, automatically like bow to them. And it's like you really don't have to answer any questions. Like you can really just, if possible, you can really just get away and, not say anything, be mute. Um, because like they always say, even though they, repealed that they even have to tell you your Miranda rights, which is crazy.
Wait, I didn't hear about
Um,
that.
yeah, I think this happened like a couple years ago,
Oh my God.
or yeah, like they don't, or I'm pretty sure.
Like fact checker Sam. Okay, but yeah, like the fact though that like to me, un people that are literally just dressed in like masks and like have no fucking like no one's wearing the same fucking outfit. Everyone's wearing like these fucking scary ass outfits with their faces covered and like they're just literally like coming up to people and grabbing them off the street and like I literally saw this video of this mom like crying and like begging for them not to take her and she's like sitting in the back of the ice van and they're like trying to get her in the ice van and it's like her kids are crying and like it just the cruelty that we're seeing on this mass level is like insane. Like I just don't understand how people could look at just a family minding their own fucking business, like going to the store, basically going to work. Cause most of the time, cause that's also how ICE agents are getting information is looking up shit on the fucking IRS. And so all the people that are basically saying like immigrants are getting like a free ride, no, they're fucking not because they're literally going through the fucking IRS because undocumented people do pay fucking taxes like $90 billion a year. Or sorry, 90 million. 90 million. I think it's almost $1 billion. But they're going to their work because of the fucking IRS being fucking a shady ass bitch. And so that's a really fucking scary precedent. And so the fact that people are just productive members of society and they're getting fucking kidnapped and sent to these for-profit prisons, getting sent back to these horrific home countries that are destroyed because of the United States that have destabilized these countries, to be treated with the most utmost cruelty I've literally ever fucking seen and witnessed in my entire fucking life. It's just fucking insane to me.
Yes, it's definitely. I just feel like the more you learn, like the more you see that everything is like connected. Like everything is rooted in, what can make the most money. Um, eh, how can we make the most money with and I guess expend the least empathy or compassion or anything like that. Um, but for the fact check in terms of Miranda rights, um, they are not required to read your Miranda rights in every situation. They're only legally obligated to read them when you are both in custody and being interrogated. So if you're arrested but not questioned, or if they just talk to you, they don't have to read you your rights.
Wow.
So
Always ask for a lawyer. Yep. Plead the fifth. Keep your mouth closed.
keep it cute. You really don't have to speak, okay?
Mm-mm.
Like you really don't have to. It's actually not by force.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But yeah, it's just so many things that are deteriorating for a reason. All of these travel bans are very interesting. It's so many countries, mostly like Middle Eastern countries or like a lot of African countries, a lot of Caribbean countries, and it's very blatant. What the meaning is behind that. Um, what else? It's just so much to like even keep up with,
Yeah.
to try and chronicle. Like there's always something new happening every day. There's always something new being repealed or taken away. I know he announced in the last couple of days that the LGBTQIA youth suicide hotline is going to be shut down
Oh my
by
fucking
July
god.
17th. So it's all very obvious that oh there was a pregnant woman who in Georgia who died or who was declared brain dead like 4 months ago, but they still kept her body. They still kept her. Excuse me. Uh, like, eh, what's the word?
Like medically alive,
Yeah,
but not like she wasn't even like brain dead. Like she was
yeah. She's brain dead. She doesn't have any.
like passed
She doesn't have
away.
any. Yeah, there's no once you're brain dead, there's nothing they can do. But she was pregnant, and so Georgia has the abortion ban, and they kept this dead lady, dead lady's body hooked up, um, to keep this baby alive. Or not alive, to keep the baby to keep the baby's gestational environment intact. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Um, and we can't even say gave birth because she's not here on this same plane with us. But the baby was 1 pound, and I know her name is Adriana. I need to find her
Well,
last name.
and her family wanted her to be taken off life support, and like the state and the basically hospital refused against the entire family's wishes. And because of the state of her body, they had to basically take remove the baby because her body was deteriorating. So what's fucking crazy about that is like in The Handmaid's Tale, there's this literally the same plot point of this lady dies. They keep her alive so she can have the baby in the show. And that's literally happening in real life.
Yes, and Adriana Smith was a Black woman, and unfortunately, Black women have a history. Um, they've just they've used us as test dummies, for um, childbirth. A lot of Black women in Puerto Rico and other women of color in Puerto Rico were forcibly sterilized. I think in the 70s. Um, Black women have very high mortality, what's it called, maternal mortality rates compared to other women of other races. So it's just, obviously this would have been, horrible if just for anybody. But I think it's even more sinister that they tried this out for the first time on a Black woman when we just have this history of being
Mm-hmm.
medically neglected. They feel like we don't feel pain the same way that other people do, so they don't give us enough medicine. And then when we ask for more medicine, they treat us like we're like drug addicts. They it's just
Yeah, the medical
so
racism
fucked up.
is like they say basically what the police are to Black men, the medical field is to Black women. Like it is the worst fucking place for Black women to get treated. Like it just, yeah, like Kylie said, literally this has been going on forever, like forever.
Yeah, so it's just, what kind of precedent does this set? Are they gonna start thinking, oh, okay, well, this is just what we're gonna do. Like um we're gonna make that, a normal practice to do. It's just there are just so many things that are going on in this country that it's just we don't know how bad it can get, and I don't want to know how bad it can get, and so we have to do we have to rise up simply.
Yeah.
I think there's this stat that says something along the lines of only 3.5% of the population needs to rise up to, you know, make to make a decent change, basically. So, you know, that's
That's not that much of the population when we think about it.
yeah. If the population is what is it 300 million basically. What is 3% of 300 million? 1 million?
Like, because you're the
1.3?
fact checker, Sam.
1.3 million?
Like, get out your calculator.
Something of the sort. Or no, 3.5% of 300 million. Huh. Is 9. Oh, right, 3%. Yeah, 3.5%. Okay, so I was off. But yeah, I mean, it really doesn't take that many of us to, and I know there was definitely more than that combined at all of these protests
Yeah.
that were just happening this past weekend. So I think
Change is a brewing.
change is afoot. People are waking up and seeing that shit is,
Hitting the fan.
yeah. So that is very exciting, but we have a lot of work to do.
Uh-huh. And I think we got to keep the momentum, which I believe on 4th of July, there's going to be some protests. We love that. I feel like because I went to Chicago this past week and I honestly had a lot of fun. I got to see a protest there. It was the one that started right after what is going on in LA, because that's what started all the protests was there was like a mass thing of ICE coming in. And so basically the citizens of LA went out, protested. Then Trump sent the National Guard out. It was basically like war in the streets because of the fucking regime basically sending these troops out and all that going on. Because before they got there, they were literally peaceful protests, which again, our First Amendment right is the right to protest. And so when people bitch about that shit, it actually pisses me off because that's our fucking right. And so what was going on there was the basically all the people on the fucking opposite side of fucking freedom and justice and like the American people basically are regime government fighting against us. They were actually kettling people, which for people that don't know what kettling is, it's when the police force will basically surround the protesters and cut them off at a certain point and not let them leave. So they basically have them surrounded and they just basically force everyone together. And it's like if they try to leave, they get hurt, arrested, whatever. Sometimes they do it for hours, basically to dehumanize people into being scared, hurt, maybe shot with rubber bullets, tear gas, which tear gas is literally not even used in fucking war, but it's used on the streets to the American people. Make it make sense. But yeah, so a lot of people were talking about that. I actually saw a video of a girl in Chicago documenting her story. And when I was in Chicago, I started seeing it. And then when I was leaving, I left on June 14th, which was the protest day. And we rode the train to the airport, and we saw a bunch of people riding the train with signs and everything going to this protest. So it was super cool to see. There was like this really cute little family and a little girl. They were taking her, and the mom was like holding this sign up in the window on the train. And it was like, oh my God, I love people. But yeah, that was really cool to see. But yeah, basically, like I said, this girl documents her story in Chicago. And for some cities, like when we see these optics, and that's why we have to remember, like with a technological, like revolution, warfare, whatever, we have to almost think like this whole thing is a PR stunt in a way. Because you have to control the narrative, because that's literally what this administration is doing to us. So a couple things that I've been seeing on a lot of Discord is from here on out, people need to only take the American flag to these protests, because when these pictures are taken for history and whatever, it looks like the government is fighting against the American people. And it takes away the, because I know people want to use their flags and like show solidarity. But when the police basically provoke citizens and end up using war crimes basically on citizens, it makes certain groups look bad when they then present it on, let's say, Fox News or, those propaganda websites and stuff. So those things are really important when looking at the optics. So we want to get more pictures with the American flag in it, with people actually boots on the ground documenting what's going on. So back to this girl in Chicago, she talked about they have protest organizers that will go and get permits for the city. And so there's a bunch of videos of seeing like the Chicago PD walking with the protesters, protecting them, whatever. Well, what people didn't see is as soon as the protest was over, they basically were like, okay, you guys have to leave. And so there was still people obviously wanting to keep it going. And so they're like, hey, we should go basically to this one point in Chicago where they were, I guess it was like a hot spot for ICE to arrest people. I think it was like a government building. And so they were going to go protest there. So the cops overheard it and basically were like trying to break them up. It was a whole thing. So they all tried to disperse and go to this place. So the cops eventually got wind of that, met them there, and then that's when they started kettling this group of people. And the girl said that there was men, women, children, even in this thing, which I feel like maybe when it gets dark, let's take your kids inside. That's when shit pops off. Probably not a good idea for kids to be there. But the fact that they were kettling people there and basically like forcing them to stay there, to the point where like it could have been hours, like people had to go to the bathroom. They weren't allowed to leave. I've seen videos of a girl trying to go through like a police blockade because she literally lived there, and they shot her like from fucking 10, 15 feet away with a fucking rubber bullet. So it's just, this shit is getting so fucking crazy. And the fact that they're using social media to spin it, and make, the American people look bad when we're literally trying to fight against this fascist regime is just pissing me off. So that's why we really, really do have to think about this. And I saw this quote that was basically like, take the weapon they're using against us and like turn it on them. So like we really do have to be smart, strategic, really think about the optics, because this is something we've never seen before. Because controlling the narrative is so easy when you have billions of dollars. But again, like what we talk about all the time with like the printing press and stuff like that, like we are in the day and age and news of the American people documenting what's going on in their everyday life. And we're able to organize on these public platforms. And like, again, I've even seen videos of like someone was like, hey, how'd you find out about this? One of these protests, he's like, Reddit. So it's like, even the internet people are coming out. So we are on the precipice, I think, of change, but we do have to keep like the momentum going for sure.
Agreed. But I have faith that we will. But I am going to throw it over to Sam so he can educate us, teach us something new with his fun fact.
Thank you so much, Kylie. I have some wisdom. A little bit of wisdoms. This was a more lighthearted one. There was this YouTube channel called Game Theory a while ago. I think it's still around, but it was a big one where this gentleman named Matthew Patrick would just talk about theories about videos, movies, shows, just kind of give his own thing. He made it super entertaining, and it got a lot of followers, but Pat got into politics. And if he can, that means that, maybe you can too. But he actually ended up launching something called the Creator Economy Caucus, a bipartisan group in the House of Representatives aimed at ensuring legislation is relevant for the internet age, according to Wikipedia. The announcement was made on June 10th, 2025, so this month. The initiative was reportedly supported about around 10 representatives, according to Pat's Instagram post. For those of you that don't know, a caucus is a group or meeting of supporters or members of a specific political party or movement. The exact definition varies between different countries and political cultures. So he basically got some of the House of Representatives, at least 10 of them, together to help represent Creators Acts, which I thought was pretty cool, especially in this new age of AI. And also that a YouTuber can get into politics and create a bipartisan, meaning everybody is in agreement with this. So that has been Sam's fun facts.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sam.
Yeah.
It is definitely inspirational that, the regular people can inspire and actually, what's the word? Spearhead new legislation, because it is important for us to have laws and bills that reflect some of the things that do happen today, and will reflect the things that do happen today, and that includes, internet crimes or just mess on the internet. So
Yeah. Well, and like we talk about how it's like anyone can do what they can in the area that they can do it. Like, again, Shirley Chisholm, school teacher, like this guy, YouTuber, so everyone can do it. Everything is political, so everyone should get involved. And also, fuck ICE and fuck the fascist Trump regime as well.
with both fingers, both hands.
Mm-hmm.
And again, happy Juneteenth.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, I'm Kylie.
I'm Peyton.
And this has been Fires of Change.